E.N.D here. Today, as you can see, we're going to talk about the Cavalier of Thorns, a 2 and 3 green mythic elemental knight from Core Set 2020. This particular card has a very interesting price history to analyze. First of all, as I said, this particular card, Cavalier of Thorns, is from the set Core Set 2020, which in my opinion is one of the best set released for Magic the Gathering when it comes to a core set. Core Set 2020 had a very interesting card in them. We had the Cavalier of Thorns, we had Cavalier of Gaze, we had the cycle of Cavaliers, we had Leyline of the Void, Leyline of Anticipation, all the cycle of Leylines. We had very good cards, and compared obviously with Core Set 2019, Core Set 2020 is a very good core set. Now, as I said, let's analyze the price history of this card. First of all, obviously, you have to remember that Cavalier of Thorns is still in standard, so we're going to analyze the price regarding this card even for standard, not only for Pioneer or Modern, where prices of certain cards do spike because of Pioneer and Modern. First of all, at pre-release, at spoiler season, we see the card being traded at around $20. These mythic elemental cards were very successful, especially in the spoiler season. Unfortunately, it dropped immediately to less than $5. Obviously, having a card that needs 3 green to cast is a very difficult card to cast, especially if you're playing with 2 color decks, even in standard. But for some reason we see a spike in price to around $15. It seems that during that time this card was being standard played quite successfully, until by time the card was dying and the price was decreasing drastically. When Throne of Eldraine was released, we see here a very big drop in price, where the card really and truly was being traded at around $3 to $4. The lowest ever reach was literally $3.99, that is $4. Highest $19.99, that is $20. Then, all of a sudden, in January 2020, we see a drastic spike in price. Why this happened? I will tell you immediately. First of all, the card is being traded around 13.4 to 1. This is the non-foil version of the card, the normal card. And the reason why this card spiked in price there are two reasons. One of them obviously is Pioneer. Pioneer really and truly saved the sets that are currently legal in Pioneer. Thanks to Pioneer, those sets became quite strong in estimated value, and if players want cards from those sets, we're talking about Return to Ravnica till obviously the last set released, that is Theros Beyond That. Thanks to Pioneer, these cards became a little bit more expensive than they were and became more demanded. But there's a but. Not only Pioneer, there's also another important reason. Theros Beyond That introduced again the concept of devotion, and thanks to the 3 green that you need to cast Cavalier of Thorns, thanks to those 3 green, that is a very strong card when it comes to devotion. It gives you 3 devotion immediately. So we're seeing this card being considered or being even played in standard in mono green devotions. Let's see in standard, let's see the meta game, how standard will develop with Theros Beyond That. I'm sure that these gods, these Theros gods, these gods that help with devotion, will make a good or a big impact on the meta game in standard. There's obviously the other version of Cavalier of Thorns, the foil version, and here we see really and truly the same thread. We see that the price was falling even for the foil. Then all of a sudden we see a drastic increase in price. The current price is around $16, which I must admit, there's a very few difference between the non-foil and the foil version of Cavalier of Thorns, and that means that the card is being demanded for play and not for collection. If a particular card non-foil is very similar to the foil version in terms of price, or there are a few dollars between them. That means that the card is demanded, is highly demanded, so that players will play with that particular card. I must admit that if I would play Cavalier of Thorns in my deck, I would only use the non-foil version because obviously it is much cheaper. In this case, the card is being traded at around $16, which is not a bad price for a mythic card foil, and being played even in standard and in pioneer. So you can see here that in this case it's not only a new format, it's not only pioneer or modern or a new deck in a particular format. This time we see that a set like Theros Beyond Death that introduced the mechanic of devotion, thanks to Theros Beyond Death we see a drastic increase in price to a card that some time ago was only valued around $5. I hope you liked this video. Here you can leave me a comment what do you think about this card, if you own one of this card, or if you have sold one of these cards for around $5 at that time. You can always let me know. And here there's a subscription button, subscribe for my channel for more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.